Hello, everybody. This will be the STS. So you want to be in law and a law professional. So this will be a fireside chat. We're going to pass it out to the students later. But we want to thank all of our speakers for being here. And we have some amazing, amazing speakers today. First off, let's start off with some introductions because, we want to make sure that everyone knows exactly who's speaking. So, for one, we have the amazing Sylvia Williams. So happy to have you, Sylvia. So let me just read her bio so you guys can get an idea of how amazing Sylvia is. Sylvia Williams is a vice president, deputy general counsel for International Paper Company, a Fortune 500 public company trading on the New York Stock Exchange. Sylvia has been with International Paper for 15 years. In her current role, Sylvia manages the global corporate law group, which encompasses mergers and acquisitions, securities law, and general corporate law. Prior to this role, Sylvia had the responsibility for International Paper's global commercial and procurement, supply chain, and corporate real estate groups for the United States, Mexico, and Europe. Oh, Europe, Middle East, and Africa. I'm sorry. Let me just make sure I get everything. Sylvia also served as counsel for various business units at International Paper. Prior to joining International Paper, Sylvia was senior counsel business transactions at FedEx Express, where she primarily acquired aircraft. Sylvia was also senior counsel with law firms of Bass, Berry, and Sims, PLC, and Baker, Donaldson, Behrman, Caldwell, and Berkowitz, PC law firm. Her areas of practice have included business transactions, corporate securities, financial services, corporate governance, aviation, and commercial real estate. All right. Even more, in addition, Sylvia is an adjunct professor at Wake Forest University Law School, where she teaches mergers and acquisitions. She's also a real estate investor, entrepreneur, motivational speaker, and success coach. She and her husband have a podcast called The Edge Talk with James and Mo. Sylvia is active in her community, is also active in her community. She's completed a 3-year term as a board member of the National Civil Rights Museum. She's a pastor at her local church. Sylvia received the new Tri-State Defender Women of Excellence Award for her leadership and service in the community. She's also served as an advisory board member for Youth About Business, which is amazing because I actually did Youth About Business when I was a kid. Awesome. A national youth entrepreneurial training program that teaches young adults complex financial and business principles. Sylvia graduated summa cum laude, Bachelor of Science, Business / Accounting from West Virginia University in 1995, and received her JD cum laude from West Virginia University in 1998. In addition to her professional life and her community involvement, Sylvia enjoys renovating homes, spending time with her family, traveling, and cooking. So happy to have you, Sylvia.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I just want to add that tidbit, you doing Youth About Business and different
Yeah,
things that I did as a young person. You've definitely, the work that you've done has permeated. So we're so, so happy to have you. But
I'm happy to be
hold
here.
on. We cannot just focus on Sylvia. While she is amazing, we got two other really amazing panelists. All right. So let's go on over to Miss Janika White. So nice to have you, Janika.
Great to be here and get everyone. And whoop, 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 whoop to Miss.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, give me 1 second. Oh no. Get that fire 1 second. I'm sorry. We just had a little technical difficulty, child. Uh,
It's fine. If you need me to do a quick intro, I can.
oh no, I got it. I got it for you. It just came back up. So Janika White is a lifelong Memphian and dedicated public servant committed to equity, justice, and opportunity for her community. She currently serves as Memphis City Councilwoman for Super District 8C2, which is also my district, yay, where she is a leading voice on issues of public safety, economic growth, and neighborhood revitalization. In addition to her counsel service, Janika is an accomplished attorney and advocate known for her bold and effective representation in both criminal defense and civil litigation. She brings the same tenacity that shows in the courtroom to City Hall, ensuring that policies are rooted in fairness and focus on the people. Her commitment to community extends beyond government service. Janika chairs the Bloomfield Urban Ministries and serves on the board of Economic Opportunities of Memphis, where she advances programs that expands access to resources, create opportunity, and strengthens families. A graduate of Central High School, the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, and the University of Tennessee College of Law, Janika continues to lead with courage, compassion, and a clear vision for a stronger Memphis. So happy to have you, Janika.
To be here.
All right. So again, like, all of y'all's work is permeating. You are my councilwoman. So happy to have you here and just, so happy to just get to interact with women that are killing the game. But we can't forget the men, right? So we have also Mr. Jeff Walker. Give me one. I'm sorry, y'all. Zoom is kind of giving me some issues. I'm really, really sorry. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Okay. 1 second. I'm just trying to pull up your uh
You just say my name because I feel downplayed now that you just
Don't do
allowing
that.
that to everybody
I'm
else.
so sorry,
I'm
y'all.
like the
So sorry,
puppet,
y'all. No, we gonna do that. We're gonna do
We
yours.
gotta wait. Yes.
Super sorry about this. All right. So Mr. Jeff Walker. Oh my God. I'm super sorry. Um, Where am I find it? 1 second. Because I had it up. Sorry, Jeff, did you send it to us? I'm sorry, I thought I had it up.
I did, but it's all good. I can rock and roll.
Okay, could you please? I'm very sorry about this.
Not so gravy. Just I've practiced all over doing everything. Criminal law, civil law. Right now I work for the state. Prior to I was CEO at General Sessions. Prior to that I was at Adams and Reese. Prior to that I was at the EEOC. So right now I work for the state, as I said, and I've been doing this for a little minute.
Awesome. So grateful to have you, Jeff. And again, like we love to have like a nice balanced panel. So it's really nice to have both the men and the women present and members of the Memphis community. So thank you guys so much for being patient and also for being a part of this. So I guess we'll start off just going around and just asking some general questions that the students would like to know, because these are students that are even considering going into the law field. And one of the things that I have heard from attorneys is not to go to law school. So I guess I want to start off with a question of, do you guys think that it is something that that students should even consider at this point, going to law school?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I've never heard don't go to law school. I think it's some, I've heard of people who actually go to law school and decide that they want to do something else. But I always think that if it's something that you think you're interested in, to go for it and, do what you need to do, do the LSAT, study for the LSAT, you know, and even I wouldn't even say necessarily pick a certain major in undergrad, because when I was in law school, we had people that majored in some of everything: dance, theater, English, business, criminal justice. Going in, people always say major in criminal justice, but that's not necessarily the case. For me, I didn't like writing a lot. So I majored in English because I knew I wanted to be an attorney and I knew it was going to require a lot of reading and writing. And so I made that my particular focus. So you can major, in whatever, you just do good at it. And of course, study for the LSAT. But I would absolutely say go to law school. I think whether you decide to practice with a JD or whether you don't, I think it's a great asset to have.
I agree. Our community needs more diverse, and I don't know what the population of the students are, but diversity in all respects. We need diverse population of people who understand the law and who are lawyers, whether you're doing it, like she said, whether you're practicing or whether you just gain the skills that all of us have gained going through law school. But it's needed.
I think you
Agreed.
do what you feel comfortable doing, right? So if law school is not your avenue, then it's just not your avenue. But I think if you do want to go into something, practicing law, or like you said, it doesn't even have to be practicing law. Just get your JD just to boost your resume, whatever the case may be. I think that, going to law school is never a bad idea, right? It was something I never planned on until, right beforehand. So it's never a bad idea. And as stated, we do need more diversity as it pertains to the law field. You don't see a lot of African American women, men, any of that, no representation, right? So I think that it's not necessary, but it's, what do you want to do, right? It's something for you to figure out.
And if I would just add this one little thing, I was talking to someone over the weekend about, I think it was at the Doctors Lawyers game over the weekend. And I was like, wait a minute, where are the lawyers? We don't have lawyers that play basketball. And now I see you, Jeff. I'm gonna make sure they have you on the list for next year playing. Because I told them, I was like, I'll sign up. We need some lawyers. It's like, where? But I said that to say, when they started telling me about the incoming class at the University of Memphis, and last year, it's still not that many Black students, African American students, but on top of that, apparently it's not that many male. It's a larger female class, and so it made me think. Not only would I say yes, go to law school, we have to figure out how to encourage more people to go to law school. I love this profession. I love what I do, and just in this one call, you see how diverse in practice we are, and just all the things that you can do with a law degree, other than just even practicing law per se. So I say yes, and we need to figure out more ways to encourage young people to go to law school and get in this field.
Speaking of that, Janika, could you guys like talk about some of the ways that even if you don't necessarily go into being a lawyer or an attorney, you could, going to law school, what else could you do? Like, what are the options available for students?
Can I? I'll start off with that if you don't mind, Janika. So I have a friend who's in HR. I have friends who are tax professionals within corporations. Friends of mine who have started their own businesses and they understand the law and regulations around the law. But a lot of this they learned because they went to law school. Probably Jeff and Janika could attest to, if there are family issues or issues at church, one of the first people they're going to call is you, because even if you don't practice that area of the law, you're a lawyer. So you're able to help people resolve issues. I have friends who have gone into pro bono work from a legal perspective. So there's all kinds of things that one could do with a law degree.
And I was going to add, like a lot of CEOs, executives,
Mhm.
have some legal background. a lot of business professionals actually do. I've learned that recently. They just don't practice. So I never knew that they had gone to law school. I would say in terms of like sports management, that's the thing. I immediately just thought about Candace Stewart, who's an attorney, but she's over there with the Grizzlies. So I mean, it's just a lot you could do. And I even know some lawyers who practice more in finance,
Mhm.
even though they don't practice law, but they have that legal background.
I just agree with everything that's been said. You know, whether you practice law or not, having a JD behind you and knowing, a bit about what the law entails can prepare you for a lot of things. You know, I don't know about finances. That's why I didn't do it. I ain't not math. I'm a writer, but but I do agree. Like a lot of people that you may see as your top leaders or your top, entrepreneurs or what have you, they likely have a JD, and that's that has propelled them to do several things.
Okay. So one of the things I'm gathering is that, getting your JD is less about going into practicing law, but kind of learning the mind of understanding how the law works. And that's beneficial to anybody, anywhere, whatever you go into, right?
Yeah.
Um,
And a big part of it is about critical thinking skills.
hmm.
A lot of what we learn in law school is how to think critically, which unfortunately for a lot of the generations, so I was born in 73. When you were reading the bio, I'm like, dang, I've been around a long time. But so I started practicing law in 1998. So you guys do the math there. But at that time, my everyday life was not bombarded with social media and all these things. There were a lot of issues and problems in community and things that we had to get together and think critically about. And a lot of today's environment is taken up with social media and just time on your phones and time away from really engaging your brain actively. And what law school really does, it puts you in a place where you have to engage your brain actively as a critical thinker. And that is a skill that can transcend any type of industry, the stuff that Jeff and Janika are talking about. That's why people have been so successful in other areas outside the law, because they have gained those critical thinking skills. And that's why law school is important.
That makes sense, and especially that point on critical thinking, right? Like you said, we're in a distraction era, and learning to just think beyond the surface level, that is becoming a lost art. So you guys are on the high curve of it. So since we are speaking about law school, how hard is it? Like honestly, like will they get to sleep?
I
You just have to endure.
will tell you from personal experience that is such an individual thing. For me, I mean, law school was challenging. It was absolutely challenging. But I wouldn't say that it was necessarily hard. It was very much so doable. One of the things I learned out the gate was that you have to figure out what works for you. I had classmates that were in the library, I mean, all day, all night. They would order pizza, sleep in the library. And I remember a day or two I tried it because I felt like I'm gonna fail. Why am I not in the library like these people? Like I gotta study. And y'all, when I tell you I didn't make it 2 days doing that, like it just wasn't for me. It's not how I study, it's not how I work. And you have to learn what works for you. You have to be very intentional, you have to be focused, you have to be disciplined, all of those things. But it's just like anything else. You have to work hard, but I wouldn't necessarily say that law school is hard. It's absolutely challenging, but it's doable. You can ride the challenge, with the right tools and doing what it is that you need to do.
Yeah, I would just say I treated it like a job. So in undergrad and law school, 9 to 5 is how I worked. So whether I had a class or not, I was in the library from 9 to 5. And after 5 o'clock, I was done. So if I go to class for 3, 4 hours a day and I study for 3, 4 more hours, then to me, it was no need to study for 10 hours. It just wasn't that dense. Now, I will tell you, I don't know what you guys' experience was back when I was in law school. And I'm sounding like my kids now. In the old days, you had one test per class. That's it. You didn't have a quiz. They didn't prep you. You had one exam, and that was it. Was your only grade for that class. And so I think, at least in the classes that I'm teaching now, it's very different. And I like the way we're doing it now because it's more comprehensive. But back then that was very stressful that your entire grade hinged on the grade of one test.
Hmm.
I think I do remember. I think law school was like that. I'm trying to think, did we do midterms in law school or not? But I definitely remember like it wasn't an ongoing kind of turning in work type of thing.
Right.
Either you show up and listen and get it or you don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, I was the complete opposite. I did no studying in undergrad, high school, none of that. We kicked it. Um, but going to law school, it was challenging because I had to. I was living in the heart of Nashville when I was in Nashville in law school, and all my friends would call and, hey, let's go on the Limelight. We're gonna do this, that, and the third. And I had to literally put my whole life aside. You know what I mean? To really buckle down because we had one test, right? So there was a lot of things I had to, like the Thanksgiving was like, I'm gonna come get a plate, but I'm going back to the house. I gotta knock out some studying, and it's really your first year to where you get your rhythm, right? And so a lot of people will tell you like your first year is the year that everybody da 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 da. Well, that's the rhythm. You get your rhythm your first year. So I literally had to put everything to the side to study. I don't know how diverse this group is that we're talking to, but I was the only Black person in my undergrad class, I mean, my law school class. So I couldn't relate to everybody. So everybody's buckled down serious going to the library. I didn't go to the law school library. I went to the undergrad library. And that's where I could study. I could study at the house because I knew where to put all my stuff, how to make it, arrangeable for me to focus and study on, my particular topics. And so, yes, it's challenging, but I always tell everybody, the little one, young bros that come after me, like, if I can do it, anybody can do it. It's not impossible. It's very doable. You just have to learn how to get that mindset and how to put things to the side so that you can get the job done.
Mhm.
Okay. So it's realistic, like, you don't have to give up your life and just disappear for 2 to 3 years, but you do have to put in that work. You still got to show up for yourself.
You better gotta disappear.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
A bit. So in terms of, the showing up aspect though, before law school, right? How can these students prepare before law school to get there? Because you can't just walk up in there, you got to get to the LSATs, but what in their undergrad should they do to start building up to that?
I would say one, do your work and do it well in undergrad. I have a very close family member who has tried to get into law school for a while, and it was just like he just just frolicked a lot in undergrad. Very smart, and then decided he wanted to go to law school and started to get it together towards the end of his time in school. But it's hard to convince a law school that you have what it takes to be able to succeed in law school if you haven't done well in whatever it is that you decided to major in undergrad. The LSAT, people talk about it a lot, but my opinion is that it's just a test of practice. You practice it enough, you'll get a good score. It's nothing really super different than anything else. You do your practice test, you learn it, you keep doing it, studying it, and you'll do well on that. I think the bigger thing is just making sure that you do well and excel in whatever major it is that you decide to take on in college.
Yeah, I would say have a plan. And with everything in life, stick with it until you get what it is you came for. It may not be easy, it may take a couple times, but number one, I would say as an undergrad student is beginning to master your time. That's what I've learned for a lot of people has been a challenge. We all have 24 hours in a day, and you got to ask yourself, what am I doing with my 24 hours? Does your 24 hours look like someone who is going to be a lawyer, who is going to go to law school? If it doesn't, adjust accordingly or decide to do something else. I mean, it's pretty simple. I'd like to say it was harder than that, but I promise you it's really not. You got to make a decision and then make sure your actions are consistent with what you're saying you decided.
I'm the wrong person to ask this question to. I'm sorry. We kicked it. Undergrad, we kicked it. It was easy, right? So undergrad, like it was easy. The work is what the work is. You get your little test, get your little quiz, but we kicked it. And it wasn't until I was about to graduate to where I looked and saw, okay, now what do I want to do, right? And it was me, is either go get a master's or go to law school. You know, I'm flipping the coin, really. And so, you know, it's like, okay, well, why not go to law school? And as far as the LSAT goes, sometimes you have to invest in yourself, right? And so I took the Kaplan course. It was $1,500, right? And it sounds like a lot when you're in undergrad. It's like, you know what, you have to invest